world was young, the mountains green, no stain yet on the moon was seen.
Then with a crash came a great ringing shout. Ra, boom, ra.
3 rings for the elven kings under the sky, 7 for the dwarf lords in their halls of stone, 9 for mortal men doomed to die, 1 for the dark lord on his dark throne in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie. 1 ring to rule them all, 1 ring to find them, 1 ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie.
It's talking about Tolkien, Ben.
It's talking about Tolkien, Nate.
Back by popular demand, and after a brief hiatus, it's the road to Isengard, Ben. It's chapter 8.
It's chapter 8
of the Two Towers.
It's a strange chapter.
It's a nice I wouldn't say victory lap, because we're not certain yet that the day has been won until near the end, when it's like, oh, okay. He got wrecked.
It's I think the thing that stands out most to me about this chapter is there's a little bit of lore here and there, but mostly it's the tone. I think this is one of the ones most recently where Tolkien has sort of used the authorial voice to just state his own opinions a lot. The whole chapter feels like kind of like a held breath until
that's a good way of putting
they
it.
actually get to Isengard.
Yeah, because again, we don't know what has happened. All the orcs are defeated, and they keep telling us that like all of Isengard was emptied. But I mean, Saruman, he couldn't have been that stupid, right? Couldn't have possibly not had any sort of defensive force. Like we gotta end up fighting him, maybe. So,
well, I think Saruman.
Who knows?
We'll talk about Saruman's strategy maybe a little bit in the chapter after this, but yeah, I mean the short summary of this is they ride to Isengard. They have some observations on the road, not even really adventures, and then of course when they get there, it's sort of the scene from the movie where Merry and Pippin are sitting on a mound of food and tobacco.
Yeah, there's the exhalation right there.
Yeah.
Oh my god, where are we gonna find the hell? It's just Merry and Pippin just chilling out, drunk off their ass. What?
Yeah, but they do have wine too. Yeah, they are just drunk.
Yeah, they are inebriated. Yeah,
I think Pippin's passed out for most of it.
Yeah, he is. He's passed out, and Mary's like, "You guys are late. We wouldn't have started without you, but you took your sweet time getting here, and so we broke into the wine a little prematurely. That's on you, not on us."
Yeah, so I think what I might want to do with this one, since there's not a lot of like plot we need to cover, it's mostly just like conversations on the road, observations as they go.
And then dunking on Saruman. Just straight dunking on him nonstop when they enter Isengard. And they're like, this is it?
I guess to pretend I know something about literature, this is like the denouement of part 3.
Oh, is that how you say that?
How would you say it?
I wouldn't. I would only say it in my head so that no one else can hear
it. Yeah. This is the tension release. This is sort of where the falling action for book 3 starts. And yeah, Tolkien's sort of just talking. One of the themes he's going to deal with here is nature triumphs over industry. That's always been a theme.
That would be awesome. Although
well,
I guess
it always does
global
in the
warming
end.
Will. Yeah, I mean, if the environment shifts enough to just eliminate us, it will technically be able to declare victory.
Yeah, but no, nature triumphs over industry, and it always does. It always will in the end.
That's why we gotta go the mutually assured destruction. We gotta make sure that nature goes with us. You know,
I don't really know that there's a way to do that. I don't think we have
we
that
launch
power.
all the nukes.
I think it'd still be
everywhere.
okay. I think
You
it's
gotta. Is there a way to just blow off the atmosphere entirely? Leave this dead rock floating in space.
you gotta stop the iron core from spinning.
We're working on it. It's changing speeds and directions and shit. So give us a few decades.
I don't think we're going to
We'll
be
beat
able to
that iron
change the
core.
Earth's magnetic sphere anytime soon.
I saw someone who was like, "God, remember that BS about destroying the ozone layer?" It's like, but we changed things.
We spent billions of dollars and we changed a bunch of stuff. And
yeah, we made a lot of changes actually. Yeah, this is. I agree. Nature is definitely going to win.
But
I
also agree from that guy's perspective, it'll probably all be fine because somebody else is going to do all the thinking. And that guy's going to live his whole life like that. And unfortunately, that's just the way it's going to be because one of us has to do the thinking, and I'm not going to die just to prove him wrong.
Well, that's why we need to have like a middle ground. We need to have like some sort of walking tree that just goes and clubs him.
Ooh, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
Maybe that's where the Ents come from.
Great.
That's the fantasy.
There you go.
That's the fantasy of the Ents. So yeah, I'm going to walk through this. I don't know if you have any points you want to touch on, but I'll start going through.
I do have one point when they get to Isengard.
Okay,
but it's mostly like point and laugh. So, but you go ahead.
Okay, so chapter picks up. Gandalf arrived. He scattered. He brought in reinforcements. Combined with the final charge from Theoden's men, they've scattered the orcs. The orcs fled into the forest, which was an unwise choice. The men of Dunland threw down their weapons and surrendered. And now we have our heroes reuniting and finally getting a chance to talk to one another. Legolas and Gimli exchange their scores. Gimli has come out ahead by 1. It was 42-41, if anyone was concerned about that.
Yeah, I wrote it down too. I don't think he wins in the movie. I think they take that from Gimli. They take like everything from Gimli.
I don't know.
He doesn't do anywhere near as much stuff that he does in the book, and then he's just like a comic relief loser. Meanwhile, Legolas is over there being Tony Hawk, and he's flying up an elephant using magic climbing.
Well, if it's any consolation, they take all the personality from Legolas.
Yeah, that's true. But that might be Orlando Bloom.
Honest to God, he wasn't that bad in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, but he was also like the third or fourth most interesting character in it. Well, despite being the second male lead.
There's nine dudes in the Fellowship. I mean, third isn't bad.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about in Pirates. I mean, Legolas, now that I think about it, is probably my least favorite. Well, yeah, Pippin is Merry and Pippin are kind of not great in that movie either. Those would be the 3 I would cut from the team,
Resurrect Boromir, kill Pippin.
Yeah, there you go.
But no, we mentioned in the last episode they sort of asked Gandalf, like, do you do forests now? Is that something you conjured? And he's like, no.
No, my ring only does fire.
Yeah, and Theoden thanks Gandalf for all his wonderful wizardry, and Gandalf assumes the role of the teacher again and says that all he did was offer counsel and maybe relied on the fastest horse God ever created. But other than that, didn't do a lot of magic.
Didn't do a whole lot, yeah. We could have actually used some of those grenades, really. That would have been pretty nice.
Saruman had grenades.
Just a little. Yeah, he had a big grenade that exploded our entire fortification. Well, like the section of it, but
I gave you Gimli. So, Gandalf wants to set off for Isengard immediately, and Theoden has a line.
Are we ready for Isengard?
Yeah, well,
no, man.
That's his tone, and Gandalf is like, "Well, okay. I mean, I understand. You guys can wait here. I'm going to go off to Isengard." And Theoden's like, "No, no, no. We're sticking together from here on out. I would like to be with you, but he says a line that I would like to read this to Peter Jackson, maybe. My old age is not feigned, nor due only to the whisperings of Wormtongue. It is an ill that no leech can wholly cure, not even Gandalf. And that's Theoden begging for, like, give me 4 hours of sleep and I'll set out. I'm 72 years old.
Nah, he needs some old man makeup to make him look like he's 200 years old.
And so Gandalf's like, okay, yeah, we'll go by night. And I think that might be better because I kind of don't want anyone to know what we're doing from here on out. We finally have confused them. They finally don't know where we're going or what we're going to do. So let's hold that advantage for as long as we can. And then while they rest, I figure this is a point you would enjoy. Theoden immediately sends out riders to start mustering forces to meet him at Edoras. After he's going to go to Isengard, and then he's going to return to Edoras, and then he's planning already. No beacons are lit, no communication is had, but he's marshaling his biggest army because he knows.
And he's not complaining about where was Gondor when the Westfold fell.
Fighting Mordor. And
you're welcome, by the
way. So he's marshaling
we fought him over there, so you didn't have to fight him over here. It's the George W. Bush doctrine.
Bush strategy, but it worked in this case. And we
don't know that it didn't work. I haven't had to fight Iraq over on U.S. soil yet.
Yeah, I don't think you ever were going to have to.
Hey, because we fought him over there.
I don't know if they had the boats. I don't know if they had the boats to cross the ocean there. But he's already marshaling the army. He is already planning for the march to Gondor because they know that they have to go there.
Yeah, because obviously if Gondor falls, they're next.
Yes. It's just basic tactics.
Yeah.
It's not even really it's strategy. It's just kind of common sense. There's another interesting point where so Theoden's getting the forces ready. They set the men of Dunland to work because that's what most people do with prisoners in war. Is there's a lot of jobs that need doing in a war. So you don't necessarily want to just kill everyone.
That also makes you like the bad guy.
Well, and in this case, there's a lot of bodies. Like 10,000 orc bodies.
Yeah, the trees did not clean those up at all.
Yet. And so they set the men of Dunland to work. They build a huge mound for the men who fell in battle. And they kind of pile the orcs out back. They don't have the time or the equipment to dig a hole big enough for the sheer number of orcs that have died. And they don't have the fuel to burn them. There is a forest nearby.
There's a bunch of trees over there.
Even if Gandalf had not told them to do that, had not told them not to chop it down, no one was going in there. So
how bad could it be? The entire army of orcs went in there and never came back out.
Yeah, we have this example of, like I said in the last chapter, the orc problem of the orcs. In this case, are kind of representing.
We have a problem. It's kind of solved.
Yeah, how convenient that they all died to the man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what Aragorn said would happen. No quarter. Surrender now.
They should
We're
have
prepared
surrendered.
to fight.
But it's interesting that no orc tries to surrender. That's just very convenient. And
Yeah, they're the fighting Uruk-hai. We don't surrender. We might be down. Where we are a football team, we might be down by like 42 points, Ben. But we're still going to play until the very end.
never
No
punt.
mercy rule.
No field goal. Touchdowns every time.
Touchdowns only.
So there will come a point when evening falls where the forest moves again. And when the forest moves this time, it disposes of the orc bodies.
Yeah, they heard a lot of flushing noises as the forest departed.
The trees dig a giant ditch and they cover it with stones. The men believe that is where the orc bodies wound up, but they will not go near it to find out. And we are told nothing
Cowards.
ever grows there.
Yeah, so nature lost, Ben.
Well, I think it's to show that the orcs are in some way like they've separated from nature. They're unnatural beings.
Oh, so we had to kill him.
I don't know
There were an invasive species, Ben, and we had to get rid of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how that one
Sorry, my
works.
hands are tied, okay?
Like I've said before, I don't know how that one works. But we find out that Hama, one of the named characters, I should say, fell during the battle. He was given his own special grave. And ultimately, the bodies of the humans are treated with respect. We see burial mounds as the preferred method, I think. Burning, a second
I do
method.
have a point coming up if you don't touch on it.
What is your point?
So Legolas is talking about how the trees have they're like angry and hot, and he's like, I'd love to walk among them and learn their language. And then Gimli's like, trees, no, thanks. But those caves back there, oh my god!
Obviously, I was
and
going to
he
touch on this.
proceeds to talk about caves for an entire page. And so Legolas and him make a deal. If they make it through this, they're gonna go Fangorn together, and then they'll come back to the Helm's Deep caves together.
Now, I thought you would have liked this because he says to Legolas, "Do you think those halls are fair where your king dwells under the hill in Mirkwood? And dwarves helped in their making long ago. They are but hovels when compared with the caverns I have seen here."
Yeah, and there aren't any jails in these caverns either, Legolas. People don't just get thrown in jail for the crime of starving to death.
The caverns.
I just wanted to throw that one out there for you.
The caverns of Helm's Deep are filled with like crystalline walls with gems inside them. And Legolas even comments like, "Oh, you guys could set up quite a mine here." And he's like, "I wouldn't dare. No dwarf would take a pickaxe to those caves. Maybe like an inch. Maybe like we chisel an inch a day just to like carve out space for like living rooms and stuff. But no. We would never, ever touch those caves."
Yeah, that'd be like me telling you that you'd like log a forest.
Yeah, he says it would be like cutting down a bunch of saplings in the middle of the forest just to make room for a house. He's like, you'd never do that. This is an interesting
over there. Like, I'd do that.
This is an interesting point in the development of Legolas and Gimli's friendship, because they do in the appendices. We'll find out they do go on these adventures that they plan.
Yeah, they do.
Gimli does come back to Helm's Deep, and he takes some dwarves and they do set up like a little city there.
Yeah.
And It is a great cultural exchange. It's also an interesting thing from just like a Tolkien's mythos perspective, because you'll see when we get to the Silmarillion, like if dwarves are mentioned at all, it's usually not good. And
Yeah,
he,
because they're a bunch of racist elves over here thinking they know better than everyone else.
well, initially he had conceived of dwarves as being evil creatures, kind of
Wow. Wow.
greedy,
Wow.
hoarding, like
But
skilled
then he blamed it
craftsmen.
on the author of the Silmarillion, which was an elf or something. So he was able to cleanse himself of that thought.
Well, I think initially he dialed it back for The Hobbit because he
Wait,
wanted
did he write? Yeah, I was gonna say, did he write the Silmarillion before the Hobbit?
100%. Yeah.
He started on it. Yeah.
He
Okay.
started writing the what would become parts of the Silmarillion. He has very early conceptions for a few key parts of the mythos. The Valaquenta, the music of the Ainur, the creation of the world, that starts pretty early. The building of the lights, like the initially the gods start with lamps, then they create the two trees, then eventually the sun and the moon. That started pretty early on. Um, he had a pretty good conception of most of the Silmarillion story. He had a pretty good conception of Beren and Luthien. He had a pretty good conception of the children of Hurin, Turin Turambar. Um, and he would continue to tweak these for as long as he lived to make them fit together a little bit better. But yeah, in The Hobbit, he had already had a concept of Middle Earth and the West and what the elves were and what the men were. Like he mentions Elrond, half elven. He clearly had some idea of what Elrond's lineage. I think Elrond is descended from both of the main families of half elves.
Obviously.
So yeah, he started all of that first, and dwarves
Wait, there's
were.
two families of half elves? Hold on. What?
Yeah, there's Baron. Baron and Luthien are the first
I did not
human
realize
elf
that
couple.
they actually procreated, though.
Yes, they have a
I kind of
son.
assumed that he died before that happened.
He dies and comes back.
Oh, okay.
He's the only person Mandos has ever let out of the halls. Well, the only man.
Why?
Luthien begs, and
Oh, is that easy?
no.
Oh,
I think Luthien has to become mortal in exchange.
oh, bummer. But then I guess like you don't have to, because I mean he was gonna die eventually anyway, and you would have continued to be a fucking immortal elf lording that over everyone like you're better than us. Now, but their children. Well, I guess their children would choose, right? They choose between path of man, the best path, or path of elves or fate, right?
Yeah, they do.
Okay, so they can still be immortal.
Yeah, they can. I mean, that's what Elrond chooses.
Yeah, and his brother decides, nah, fate of man. D&D just threw the half elf out.
They've definitely made it less like exclusively Tolkien inspired. There's another pairing of elf and man, Tuor the human and Idril Celebrindal, the elf maid of. This is in the Fall of Gondolin. We haven't really talked a ton about that except for where Gandalf and Frodo get their swords.
That's the elf city that Morgoth wrecks.
Yeah, they get hit with Balrogs and dragon. They get hit with the whole thing.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, no, they get smoked.
And then the gods come in later.
Not immediately. No.
Yeah, I mean there's a bit of time where not so much.
Their child I think is the one who goes and finally seeks help from the gods. But yeah, I forget why we were even talking about this.
I also have forgot.
I
Let's
don't.
see. We're talking about how dwarves were evil in the Silmarillion.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see how Tolkien kind of
And
came.
it turns out that's just because the elves are a little bit racist.
Well, Tolkien legit didn't like them. I mean, he that was his conception of what a dwarf would be, and he clearly changed his mind as he wrote them. He clearly made them
'Cause
just
he
culturally
started,
different. And
he started getting to know them, and he
yeah,
started
honestly.
liking them.
So I think
Yeah.
in many ways, Legolas's journey is kind of Tolkien's journey, learning to see the world from a dwarf's perspective. So yeah, I think that's a big development in Legolas and Gimli's friendship. They both agree to go outside their comfort zones to try to literally see the world from the other's perspective. Like Fangorn, a living forest of 14-foot tall trees that can walk, talk, and kill you. That's Gimli's worst nightmare. And Legolas just does not want to be. He's seen enough of those cave diving videos that I keep sending him, and he doesn't want any part of that. But they're going to do it.
It'll be fine.
They're going to do
Look,
it for each other.
I've been in this cave like 1,000 times. How hard could it be?
If you ever find yourself in a cave, right? You're a cave diver for some reason. And you're like, I'm going to go through this passage. Now, it's not wide enough for me, but maybe if I let all the air out of my lungs, I could just kind of squeeze through. What the fuck could be on the other side that's worth that?
Yeah, that's my thought too. Like, it's another cave chamber. Good luck getting out, I guess.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
If Gimli's sitting there telling me, man, on the other side of this, there's crystals and there's lakes that reflect the crystals, and it's just like you're in the center of the Milky Way galaxy, and I'm like, I don't care. I just quite simply,
no,
Gimli, I don't care. I'll look at a picture of the Milky Way galaxy and I'll be like, that's neat.
Yeah, can you get in there and take a picture for me? Like, I'm not going in there. Yeah, anytime they're like, okay, I can swim through this narrow chasm, but I have to take off my oxygen and like lead them through.
That.
And it's like, no, I'm good. This is nature or God or the universe's way of saying like, it can't fit. Don't go in there. It's not meant for you.
Exactly. So eventually they get the chance to rest and they're ready to start riding out to Isengard, and the forest is blocking the path, and Gandalf's like, don't worry, just stay in the designated lane. And the trees make way. They make enough room for
Legolas wants to ride into the trees.
Don't ride into the trees, Legolas. What did I just say?
And Gimli's like, wait, let me get off the horse first, okay? You do whatever you want, just like don't take me with you right now.
Yeah. And then Legolas says the thing that makes you really want to go in there, right? I'm going to read the quote because it's like read in a different tone. Yeah, it sounds like a horror movie, right? There are eyes, he said. Eyes looking out from the shadows of the boughs. I never saw such eyes before. I'm pretty sure like that's the exact speech from Rosemary's Baby.
What have you done to it? What have you done to its eyes?
He has his father's eyes.
I never saw such eyes before. Yeah, Legolas, so you're like an immortal elf you should have seen these eyes, right? The fact that you haven't, no.
Well, he's never.
No thanks.
Legolas really isn't that well traveled. He hasn't gone out of Mirkwood, really.
He knows what a Balrog is by sight, though.
I think he knows what a Balrog is by reputation. I think, if you see a shadow monster with a flaming sword and a flaming whip, that's probably a Balrog.
And that you really need your get out of jail Tom Bombadil card right about now.
Legolas also
Hobbit's already
Tom
used
Bombadil is.
That's sad.
But Gandalf says, "Stay, Legolas Greenleaf. Do not go back into the wood. Not yet. Now is not your time."
And Gimli's just like, I want off the horse first.
I did note, I enjoyed as they're looking at the Ents, even as, well, I don't know if these are Ents or the Fanghorns, the lesser trees. Um, Even as he spoke, there came forward out of the trees three strange shapes. These are the Ents. As tall as trolls they were, 12 feet or more in height. I enjoyed the troll comparison because Treebeard had previously said that Ents, trolls were made in mockery of the Ents, and here we have a different point of view character also sort of comparing them to trolls. Sort of lends credence to some of Treebeard's ramblings. Always appreciate that. And so this is the first time a lot of the Rohirrim are seeing Ents. I mean, this is the first time any of the Rohirrim are seeing Ents. Pretty much everyone but Gandalf, first time seeing an Ent. They're all pretty weirded out by this, didn't know they existed. Had stories about it, and Gandalf even says when Theoden's like, what the hell is that? Gandalf's like, any child of Rohan could tell you, Theoden. That is an Ent. And I have a note here because Tolkien was obviously a big champion of fairy stories and that there was a place for fairy stories and mythology and folklore in adult fiction. And I feel like he kind of just puts his own words into Theoden's mouth here. Ents, he said at length, out of the shadows of legends, I begin to understand the marvel of the trees, I think. I have lived to see strange days. Long have we tended our beasts in our fields, built our houses, wrought our tools, or ridden away to help in the wars of Minas Tirith. And that we called the life of men, the way of the world. We cared little for what lay beyond the borders of our land. Songs we have that tell of these things, but we are forgetting them, teaching them only to children as a careless custom. And now the songs have come down among us out of the strange places and walk visible under the sun.
It's because he doesn't invest enough in public education.
That just struck me as Tolkien's words put directly in Theoden's mouth. That Tolkien, we could easily replace, long if we tended our beasts in the field, build our houses, build our factories. We call that life. We fight the wars of Europe. We do all this stuff, and we call that all there is, but there's so much more out there. He's grateful to have lived to experience some of it.
Yeah.
And again, as they approach the fords of Isen, they're encountering a lot of carrion birds and beasts, the howling of wolves.
Yeah, the wolves are eating the orcs.
Yes, because once again we have attention to burial. And I think this kind of goes along with sort of a cycle of life and a nature theme here. Once again, the dead of Rohan have been tended to. Gandalf, as he was rounding up the scattered forces that were defending the forts of Isen, he sent some of them to help at Helm's Deep. He sent some to Edoras. He sent some back here to give a proper burial to the dead. So the Rohirrim have proper mounds and monuments, while the orcs are left to be eaten by their own wolves, their own mounts. And it's just such a turning on its head of the natural order. The orcs,
There's no loyalty.
Yeah, there's no loyalty. There's no fellowship. It's the opposite of being put to rest.
Oh yeah, the Dunlanders, Ben. They get to swear an oath to never raise arms against Rohan again, and they can go back home.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
No, there's a lot of mercy for everything but the orcs. And again, I kind of have to...
Because they're an invasive species, Ben.
I
We
don't.
gotta, like, I'm sorry, my hands are tied. We gotta get rid of them.
If I could talk to Tolkien about one thing, it would be the orcs.
It would be whether or not there should be a black elf or whatever it was.
You can have as many black elves as you want. I want to know why the orcs seem to deserve this when it really does seem like they never had a chance. Like the orcs, everything we're told about the orcs makes them seem kind of like victims.
Well, whenever an orc is born, they have a choice of either, like, punch a baby squirrel or don't, and they all chose to punch that squirrel, Ben. So, they're just born evil. Sorry. They made that decision. Those the ones that don't make that decision are, I don't know, they're like burned alive or something. I don't know.
That's kind of the thing. It's not really a choice then, is it?
No, I mean, it's a choice. You don't know the outcome of your actions.
Well, I mean, you can probably smell the other ones burning, right?
No. Completely sterile room.
And it's punch a baby squirrel.
Or don't.
Or maybe prizes. And everyone always chooses punch the squirrel.
Yes, every single time.
To be fair, a baby squirrel looks disgusting.
Fine, a puppy. Are you
There you
happy
go.
now,
That
Ben?
would be
There you go.
harder to punch, yeah. We're probably going to get in trouble for that.
What else is new?
What else is new?
This is why the wolves are eating the orcs, Ben. You punch my cubs.
You
My
punch.
pups.
So the night has truly fallen. They're about to rest again. And in the middle of the night, they all of a sudden, the woods are all around them again, running past them at speed. And I actually had to read this paragraph twice because I had no idea what was happening. The way it's described is a mist gathered about them. A few stars still glimmered faintly, but on either side there arose walls of impenetrable gloom. They were in a narrow lane between moving towers of shadow. Voices they heard, whisperings and groanings, and the endless rustling sigh. The earth shook under them. Long it seemed that they sat and were afraid, but at last the darkness in the rumor passed and vanished between the mountain's arms. And then there's this weird cut where they're like, meanwhile, south upon the Hornberg, all the orcs got buried. And then it cuts back to the present. And that just comes out of nowhere. And even I was very confused. But I did eventually figure out it was the trees. Whatever you don't know, it's the trees.
The river Isen is dry.
Another example of Sauron's industry destroying the environment. There used to be an amazing river here, so peaceful, free ASMR, if you can imagine. Not having to
privatized
pay.
it.
If you can imagine not having to pay Spotify $15 a month to listen to the sound of a river. That's what this was. There was such a time where that was just free. But now it's gone. Saruman took it.
Wow.
Spotify-man, they call him. And then they keep walking. Or they keep riding. And they come across acres of tilled land. This is another of Tolkien's points. We mentioned this before with the Entwives. Is that no one is kind of immune from needing some amount of agriculture, but Tolkien also loathes the industrial agriculture of the modern age. He much prefers like the small family farms of the hobbits, whereas Sauron has vast fields tended to by armies of slaves. And so even this bit of nature,
best I could do. Sorry.
Even this bit of nature is corrupted by Sauron's machine mind. And of course, amidst these fields, you can still see the burned and axe-hewn stumps of ancient groves. As they're approaching this, they're seeing the dried-up riverbed. Tons of old-growth forest totally destroyed. Just the sheer scale of what Saruman has been able to do to transform the environment in a couple of years. They're like, oh, we could be in some trouble. And of course, one of the things that maybe gives them a little pause is after riding for some miles where they don't see anything but this like gloomy landscape, the water starts to come back. The river very slowly starts flowing again. And Orthanc rises in the distance. And in case you were confused as to whether or not this was Sauron's Orthanc, you might have gotten the wrong house number. Giant white hand carved on it.
As you do.
He was really afraid somebody might not know who lived there.
Well, you paid the artist and got the rights, so you got to plaster it everywhere. You got to use it, and you got to brand.
I got to ask
brand everything.
I got to ask you, what do you think the odds are that he paid the artist? Saruman uses AI
okay,
art.
let's be fair here. Saruman probably just did it himself. He just dipped his hand into some white paint.
No, he Da Vinci'd that shit. He just typed in. He prompted. He's like, I want a giant white hand.
I can't believe you are accusing Saruman, the many colors, of being unoriginal and uninspired.
I think ChatGPT wrote that speech for Saruman. There was another thing I have, and as Tolkien's describing, a lot of description in this chapter. So the people who don't like Tolkien's long descriptions might not be keen on this one, but there's a few things I think are interesting. When he's describing the gates, a great ring wall of stone, like towering cliffs, stood out from the shelter of the mountainside, from which it ran and then returned again. One entrance only was there made in it, a great arch delved in the southern wall. Here, through the black rock, a long tunnel had been hewn, closed at either end with mighty doors of iron. They were so wrought and poised upon their huge hinges, posts of steel driven into the living stone, that when unbarred they could be moved with a light thrust of arms noiselessly. I thought it was an interesting way to describe the walls as living stone. And I don't know if that's the first time Tolkien does that. He does that with a couple of inanimate objects. Like he always refers to the roots of mountains.
Mm-hmm.
A living stone. Like there's something...
Or that the mountains have come upon them rather than they have come upon the mountains.
That there's something even sort of alive and beautiful about the rock. And I think, I don't know, I kind of wonder if that's something Tolkien had always thought, or does this sort of come about as he's thinking about like dwarves and their kingdoms?
How cool the dwarves really are.
I wonder if it gave him an appreciation for parts of the landscape that maybe he didn't really think much about, because we all know he likes trees. He's a tree guy. I think he always liked trees. Baby Tolkien hugged a tree before he hugged his mother. But rocks, I think, were an acquired taste. And of course, they enter Sauron's walls, and where there used to be gardens and orchards and just an immaculately tended like campus, I guess, where Saruman lived here alone. Maybe he didn't live alone. I don't know.
I don't think he lived alone. Sounds like he had some people around.
He had some people around. I don't know if he paid them, but
no, they paid him for the chance to study with the great Sauron, the many colors.
The many colors. I want to learn the craft of ring making. It's like, okay, well, you take the metal, right? Make a circle with it.
Yeah,
that's a ring.
Yeah.
And if you wish really hard,
Took me 1,000 years for that one.
wish really hard, magic ring. So now he has transformed it. He's carved everything up. He's created a bunch of streets and buildings and just industry everywhere. Iron wheels revolved endlessly. Hammers thudded. At night, plumes of vapor steamed from the vents. It's just an industrial hellscape where there was once a beautiful agrarian paradise.
Thomas Jefferson would weep.
I'm going to read you one more quote, because this is again where I think Tolkien just, I don't even think, a character's not even saying this. This is just narration. A strong and wonderful place was Isengard, and long had it been beautiful. And there great lords had dwelt, the wardens of Gondor upon the west, and wise men that watched the stars. But Saruman had slowly shaped it to his shifting purposes, and made it better, as he thought, being deceived. For all those arts and subtle devices for which he forsook his former wisdom, and which fondly he imagined were his own, but came from Mordor, so that what he made was not only a little child's model or a slave's flattery of that vast fortress, armory, prison, and furnace of great power, Barad-dûr, the dark tower which suffered no rival, and laughed at flattery, biding its time, secure in its pride and immeasurable its strength.
Yeah. Yeah, this is my point. Isengard's a pale imitation of Barad-dûr, and it's funny. It's funny with how terrible it is. You got your own little magic ring. You got your own model Barad-dûr, and you got your own little orc army. It's cute. It's cute, I guess. We're definitely not laughing at you. We're laughing with you.
This is something Tolkien talks about a lot in his letters, and I think he really thought about these words and liked them. He's really, really got a bug about the word progress as it is used in the 20th century. He really does not like that they call technological advancement progress. And that's sort of...
Well, he never had a Nintendo Switch.
True,
So
Tolkien never had a Nintendo Switch. So he
I think
didn't...
that might have
They made a Hobbit
been a
game
turning point.
for the Nintendo Switch.
Ooh, yeah, don't show him that. Don't show him that.
He might want paid. So, but yeah, Saruman here, he thinks he's making things better by making them more technological, and he's actually destroying them and failing to make something even as grand as Sauron. Like, he's even failing in that.
So if we were lore accurate, when that scene in whatever Hobbit movie that I didn't watch where Saruman is like, "Leave Sauron to me," it would have panned over to Elrond, Galadriel, and Gandalf just trying not to laugh. Like, yeah, you get him, buddy. You got this. Oh, God.
I too have studied the way of the empty hand.
You've got that ring. You can take him.
But then as they start walking in here, somebody has smashed up this place pretty dang good. It is like, how do they describe it? If the great sea had risen in wrath and fallen on the hills with storm, it could have worked no greater ruin. The Ents fucked this place up. They just ripped the doors off the hinges. When Treebeard said Ents are stronger than trolls, he went at that like a man with something to prove. He took stone walls apart with his bare goddamn, I don't know, tendrils, whatever he has. And then, of course, they see the most marvelous sight of all. A great rubble heap. And suddenly they were aware of two small figures lying on it at their ease. Gray-clad, hardly could they be seen among the stones. There were bottles and bowls and platters laid beside them, as if they had eaten well and now rested from their labor. One seemed asleep. The other, with crossed legs and arms behind his head, leaned back against a broken rock and sent from his mouth long wisps and little rings of thin blue smoke. This is, of course, our meeting with the door wardens of Isengard, Meriadoc, son of Saradoc, and Pippin, son of Paladin, of the House Took. So, from Theoden's perspective, he's meeting his second mythical creature of the day.
Yeah.
They have, again, legends of hobbits, but he's never seen one. And they start having a talk. Merry introduces himself. He's told he was told by Treebeard, like, when the king gets here, like, greet him, don't be you, do it right. And so he does it right, and Gandalf is pretty pleased, and Gimli is pretty not pleased. He's like, you little son of a bitch, if I didn't love you, I'd kill you. And Legolas says much the same thing. Gimli's like, where in God's name did you guys get that pipeweed? And Legolas is like, where in God's name did you get that wine? And they of course do the line from the movie where they are amid the plunder of armies and have come across a few well-earned comforts. And Theoden, of course, asks, are these the halflings that some among us call Holbitlan? I don't know if you noted this, but I noted this because I have come to know something about how Tolkien's mind works. So the story goes, how did Tolkien come up with hobbits? He was grading papers one day, and he wrote on a paper, in a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit. And he has no idea where he got the word from. He was never able to find any root for it or anything like that.
And he was like, this is my word now.
It's my word now.
You have to call it halfling,
Gary
or you
Gygax
owe me
can't
royalties.
use it. Yep. You can have orc. I stole that from Beowulf, but I'm keeping hobbits and I'm keeping ents. You have to call them tree ents. But Holbitlan is clever. It's not going to surprise you because this is Rohan. That's Old English.
Whoa.
This is a little bit of retroactive etymology. He created kind of a compound word in Old English that sounds a lot like hobbit, and it means hole dweller.
Huh.
And he was so goddamn proud of this because he says that some among us call Holbitlan. Hobbits, if you please, lord, said Pippin. Hobbits, said Theoden. Your tongue is strangely changed, but the name sounds not unfitting. Do you think a king of horse lord warriors is going to comment on the subtle changes in language over time?
Obviously, Theoden is very well learned.
Yeah, Theoden, a little bit of an amateur linguist here.
Yeah, he's had 72 years to perfect his craft, Ben.
He's just been studying. Theoden puts on his reading glasses and he's like, Holbitlan. Ah, I see. Yes, I assume you enjoyed the conversation where Pippin bursts into the diatribe on the origin of pipeweed, because Theoden has never seen anyone smoke anything before, which is weird to think about, but also, like, from a European perspective, like, yeah, that was like a Middle Eastern Native American kind of thing, wasn't it? Smoking.
Yeah. And then someone was like, I'm going to put not all of my piss in it, but just a little bit. Just the urea from my piss in this. And we're going to roll it up. I'm going to pump it full of some other chemicals, and we're going to smoke it until we get cancer. Fuck yeah.
I think back then they just kind of dried and rolled the leaves. But...
Nah. Trust me. The piss thing's really important.
So Theoden's like, I didn't know hobbits could blow smoke from their mouths. And Mary's like, actually, this is a plant called tobacco of the Nicotania variety. And the first of us to tame the plant was Tubald Hornblower. Now, where he got the plant, I don't. And Gandalf's like, shut up, shut the fuck up, shut up.
Please tell me Treebeard left a message so that I can go away. Please.
He tells Theoden, if you patiently entertain this crap, you are going to be talking about these hobbits, about their fathers and their grandfathers and their great grandfathers and their remote cousins to the 9th degree. Just do not go there. Just don't pretend that's interesting. Do not be polite.
Don't pretend that's interesting.
I have been hanging out with these little fuckers forever. They get you addicted with their weed, right? And then you got to come back. You got to come back and you got to deal with them. And then one thing leads to another, and you're like, oh no, it's a 100th birthday party. I guess I'm bringing the fireworks. No, he's just gonna put the magic ring on. That's fine. That's fine. I'm sure that's not going to turn into anything bad. Oh no, the ring race. They almost got him, and now I'm dead. I'm dead because a Balrog pulled me off a bridge. Anyway, what did Treebeard say? And yeah, Treebeard tells him to meet him over there. Gandalf's like, thank Christ, let's go. And then Merry turns to Pippin, or Pippin turns to Merry, and he's like, so that's the King of Rohan, huh? So he's a very nice man. Polite fellow. That's the end of that chapter.
That is. Yeah, that's the end.
So did I miss anything you wanted to comment on?
No, the thing I wanted to comment on is Saruman being a little loser man, little baby.
Yeah, I definitely think he makes fun of Saruman a lot, maybe to the detriment of some of the like drama of the story. Saruman really represents a type of like industrial philosophy that I think had really gripped Britain in Tolkien's lifetime that he despises. And it's probably even worse in a university setting where Tolkien spends all of his time, because he's probably dealing with all the same things anyone would deal with today if they were a professor of 6 different dead, highly specific to this island languages. Maybe we should invest in the engineering department. How much budget do you need to teach Beowulf? Like $20, $30? Like, Holbitland. Yeah, that's great. That's great. So like, what about like a steak dinner? That's your budget for this semester. So yeah, I think he probably was venting some frustrations there, but there's lots of little things like with Gimli talking about the caverns and the beauty of that, and Legolas talking about the beauty of the forest, and painting with all the colors of the wind, and every rock and tree and creature has a spirit, has a name. And that was Pocahontas. If anybody, people looking at me like, what?
Yeah, I don't know where that came from, but
it was Pocahontas. Educate yourselves. I don't know. And the other thing I think worth mentioning kind of goes by before you really notice it, but yeah, Theoden has already put in place a plan to march to Gondor. Those beacons will get lit, but they do not really need to be lit, because obviously the next thing you have to do in this war for your very existence is join forces with the only other people fighting.
yeah.
Now there is one thing I'm curious if
hear
you
me out. Let's retreat to Helm's Deep.
Let's retreat to the safety fence. It's even safer now. I'm curious if you noticed or remembered. There is a significant thing about Merry and Pippin here.
Aren't they getting bigger?
Well, yeah, they did get bigger from drinking the ant water, but
Yeah. They're drunk.
they're drunk and they're smoking,
Yeah.
but they were out of tobacco.
Yeah.
So they found tobacco
Yeah, they did.
amongst Saruman's larder.
Well, yeah. Yeah, he obviously he's going to have some tobacco in there, you know?
Even though he's made fun of Gandalf many times for
And Radagast, yeah.
and Radagast.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was for science. I put it in there so I could study it later.
Now, where do you think he got it?
I'm willing to bet that Saruman, much in the way he is copying Sauron, is also copying Gandalf. And is like, well, Gandalf smokes it, so I'm going to smoke it. And that will something, I'll be smarter and better than Gandalf.
Right, but he can't just go to the 7-Eleven for a pack of smokes.
He had to go to the Shire, right?
And who in the Shire would ever sell tobacco to
those
Saruman?
goddamn Sackville Bagginses! Those assholes! God damn it!
This is the start. This is how the scouring of the Shire started, because when Saruman leaves, he will go to where many of his men are, and he has had a whole fucking operation set up while they are gone to initially purchase tobacco from Otho Sackville Baggins, and the influx of outside gold into the Hobbit economy has set Otho Sackville Baggins up as a kind of robber baron type, and he's been buying up all the property in the Shire, and then eventually just declares himself Führer of the Shire or whatever. And it's turning into, it's a whole mess right now. That's all happening right now, and this tobacco is.
Sam saw that last book.
He saw that in the Mirror of Galadriel, and that is the present, or the very near future. Because when Saruman, I don't remember exactly what Sam saw, but Otho does employ the big people, Saruman's agents who negotiated these trades. Otho does employ them as like enforcers. So, yeah. So this tobacco they're smoking, he got it from Otho Sackville Baggins, and that economic arrangement will have very serious consequences.
Wow.
Unlike, perhaps the biggest difference from the movie is Saruman is not going to be stabbed and then fall off the tower and land on a water wheel and then slowly turn until he's face down in the mud and the Palantir falls out of his pocket.
Or,
which was also cut from the movie.
Just be cut completely from the movie and never be heard of again. We just beat him and he's done.
There's a big there was a big falling out between Christopher Lee and Peter Jackson. I think
he was pissed.
Yeah, they made up. But there's an interview where you could see Christopher Lee saying, "Yeah, probably the biggest surprise was when I went to the premiere of The Two Towers and I wasn't in it." Yeah.
You mean the Return of the King? Because this was all.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, because The Two Towers ended with Helm Deep. Yeah. Man. But yeah, keep that in mind. The scouring of the Shire is the thing, if you haven't heard.
Yeah, Saruman, maybe you should have gone and found a Balrog to get murdered, so maybe you could come back. Just keep copying Gandalf.
Oh, he ain't coming back.
No, he's not.
No.
Like you said, his dad doesn't love him anymore, just like Elon Musk.
None of his dads love him.
Yeah.
Like at least like a lot of people can be like, well, that like the mortal man might not forgive me, but at least God will. Nope, not God either. No, okay.
Oh wow. I just realized I don't hear about Elon Musk all that much anymore, and I'm happier. It's been like a month or so since
I was
he
actually thinking
called,
about him.
Mediocre Musk. And
I was doing some runs on Diablo 4, and I was thinking about Elon
wow,
because he's so good at it.
he's one of the best players in the world, I hear.
I was thinking to myself, like, would Elon go for like a diamond in this slot, or would he hold out for like the Herodric gem? I don't know.
And he would look at you and say yes.
Both of those. That's what I would do.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. If it doesn't fit, make it fit. That's what I say. I'm Elon. That's how I designed the Cybertruck. Anyway. That is the road to Isengard. We're there now. So now, next week, we'll be covering Flotsam and Jetsam, Chapter 9. I think we've got three or four more chapters left.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
switch over to Frodo.
Yeah, I think as usual, we're going to take a little bit of a break. Probably not too long, 2 to 4 weeks between books. So plan accordingly. But if you're a patron, I've actually done pretty good with making sure these episodes are up there early. So $2, you don't have to endure the long wait. For the very low price of the budget of an Anglo-Saxon language course, you could get these episodes a couple days earlier than you otherwise would.
The road goes ever on and on, down from the door which began. Now far ahead the road is gone, and I must follow it, if I can, pursuing it with eager feet until it joins some larger way, where many paths and errands meet. And whither then, I cannot say.